What's up, Sky Squad? We are back in the building. Yes, it's your boy DJ Richie Sky. We are back with another video. We are recapping Real Housewives of Potomac Season 5, Episode 11, okay? If you are in the chatterization and I see you guys in here, I see you guys. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Y'all know I like to know what you doing, how you doing, and what you doing while you watching this video. You know what I'm saying? I want to get all up in your business. You know what I mean? So go ahead. Oh, LaQuisha, I got you, boo. Hold on one second. Listen, we got to talk about this episode. We got a lot to cover, okay? I just want to know, for those of you guys who happen to see the episode, what your thoughts were about it. You always like to rate the episode. We always like to rate the episode as we are discussing it, okay? And for me, I got to tell you guys the truth. Last night's episode was giving me a good 5, okay? It was giving me a good 5 last night. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just felt like it was not as entertaining as earlier episodes had been. I see some of you guys disagree. You guys are actually giving a little bit higher. Okay, I see some people are on the same page as me. I just kind of felt like, absolutely, Kelly, I felt like this was a filler episode. We did get little bits and pieces of information and some interesting stuff. I mean, I did appreciate seeing where Karen was from. You know, for me, you know, this moment right here was everything. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing Karen ride down the street in this parade with about 10 people outside watching, but she still treated it like it was the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. I was here for that, okay? I was here for that. But otherwise, to me, it just felt very filler-like, okay? It felt very filler-like. And so, I don't know. I just kind of felt, you know, it was a little bit of a miss for me. But I did manage to make it through the whole thing, and we got a couple of highlights that we want to talk about. Now, if you guys read the headline of this video, it says that Karen tells Candiace to call the law on Monique, and Gizelle thinks that Monique has dirt on Karen. Okay, we're gonna get to that in just a second, because she actually mentioned that in their after show, and that's her reasoning for thinking that Karen is actually on Monique's side, to Monique's face, but not necessarily behind her back. We're going to get into it. We're going to really get all the way into it and discuss what really happened, okay? I want to talk about Karen going to the Surrey County first, okay? Karen's going back to her hometown, okay? And she's taking Ashley and Gizelle with her. Now, to me, this didn't really make as much sense, okay? It didn't make sense for me in my mind that Karen would take Gizelle to her hometown when she's not been feeling Gizelle all season long. To me, that's what it seems like. It seems like, you know, she really isn't feeling her. She's been calling her out in her confessionals. I didn't understand why she was taking Gizelle. Ashley, maybe I could see, because maybe she's trying to build a different relationship with Ashley, but I couldn't understand the Gizelle thing. It almost felt like maybe Monique was supposed to go and Monique just decided she wasn't going to film with the group at that point in time. Or it seems like she would have taken maybe Candiace, because Candiace had just come off the altercation and she was at that point in time still filming. So to me, it just would have seemed better to have taken Candiace and Ashley, because I just felt like it would have been a better bonding experience. And she probably wouldn't have faced as much shade as Gizelle happened to throw her way throughout the time period that they were actually in Surrey County, okay? Now, it is during this little adventure to Surrey County that Karen admits that she told Candiace that if it were her, she would have called the law and pressed those charges on Monique. Now, Karen, this is where I was a little lost, okay? And I was a little bit confused, okay? I was confused because I'm thinking to myself, Karen has made it very clear that she is in the middle. She don't want no parts of being on either side, okay? Now, let me put it to y'all like this and why this doesn't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me to tell one friend, well, I would have pressed charges on it if it had been me. Because if I'm friends, let's say I'm gonna use Egypt and Mountain Kitty because they are two of the mods on this channel. Let's say Egypt and Mountain Kitty get into it, right? And one of the two mollywops the other one in some type of way, and the other one is like feeling some type of way about it. I, being the person in the middle, would never tell one or the other to call the law on the other. I just wouldn't do it. If there are two friends of mine and they happen to get into it, okay, y'all got into it, but y'all need to talk at some point. Y'all need to just get it together. That would be my stance. I would never tell one of two friends to press charges on the other. I just wouldn't. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. And even if, okay, let's look at it like this. Even if you knew all the things that were going on behind the scenes, at that moment, it would have been better to simply just tell Candiace, hey, listen, you know, if Candiace asked her, if it were her, what she should have said was, listen, I think that you were both wrong in different respects. I told Monique she was wrong, and now I'm telling you you were wrong, and I would love for you guys to make amends. If you don't feel like right now is the time, I understand that, because everybody seems to want each person to feel a certain thing in their own time. But guess what? It made sense to me. I was watching the producers talk about this episode, about the previous episodes, and the producers pointed out something that I thought was very poignant. You cannot make one person feel something when you think they should feel it. So the women wanted Monique to feel remorse when she didn't feel remorse. She kept it real with them. I don't feel remorseful. I don't know who feels remorseful right after a fight. Not most people who've ever been in one. But Candiace, too, would probably at that point not feel like she did anything wrong either. Because that's just how people operate. That's the human nature aspect of this situation. People, it takes a while for deep-seated emotion to really set in. So to me, I just felt like Karen missed the mark here, and she missed an opportunity to really treat each woman the way I felt like a person strongly in the middle should. I didn't understand it. Now, it was at this moment that they were discussing it on the after show. The ladies, Gizelle mostly, and Robin were both kind of surmising about why Karen seemed to want to play. It seemed like Karen was kind of playing both sides, which is what they were saying. They were like, well, she seemed like she was on Monique's side when Monique was at her house and in her face, but behind her back, she was telling Candiace to press charges. So Gizelle says to the camera, she says, I believe that Monique has some dirt on Karen, and that's the reason why Karen is showing loyalty to Monique's face. Now, I thought that was a little bit far-fetched, okay? While I do think that Karen's actions are confusing, I don't think that Monique is holding some secret tapes on Karen somewhere stashed away into T'Challa's cage, somewhere out back. I don't think that at all. That doesn't even make any sense to me. So I don't even understand why she would even say that. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like, that's a little odd, Gizelle. That's a reach. But I feel like that's par for the course with what Gizelle does. Gizelle is the type of woman who seems to like to light a match, throw it out into the bushes, and then walk away while everybody else deals with the consequences of the fire that she started. To me, that's how I see her, okay? Now, I used to be a huge fan of Gizelle back in seasons 1 and seasons 2, but somewhere along the way, I began to recognize the pattern that she seems to operate from on this show, and that is usually the fire starter who then runs away from the scene and acts like she doesn't know how it got started, okay? That's how she comes across to me. Now, the other thing I would have to say is this. If Gizelle was so annoyed with hearing Monique call, why not just walk away? You didn't have to stand there and listen to the entire conversation with your nose stuck up in the air. Just walk away. When somebody mentions somebody that I don't like, I don't even want to hear nothing about that person. I don't want to hear nothing about what they're doing. I don't want to hear their voice. I'm going to move on in another direction. I will not even know that that person exists, okay? That's how I move, and I just feel like that's some real G-type stuff. And I feel like Gizelle just be looking for any old excuse to try to throw this girl under the bus. But that's just me, okay? That is just me. Otherwise, what I do have to say is I appreciated this whole this parade. I appreciated learning more about Karen's background. I really thought it was interesting. I didn't necessarily know that it needed to kind of go on for the entire episode, but I am glad that we have gotten to see a spotlight placed on Karen's background, because in previous seasons, she's touched on, you know, growing up on a farm. And so I felt like this episode kind of brought that whole situation full circle. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciated that, and I was here for it. Now, we need to move on to Robin, okay? Because I got a lot to say about this situation. I have a lot to say about it. Now, the first thing is, I feel like this was probably Robin's biggest episode this season. And that's a sad statement when it comes at episode 11 and then you are not even on Watch What Happens Live right afterwards. You know what I'm saying? That good Wendy Acefo had like one scene and she was on Watch What Happens Live. You had a good portion of the episode in terms of anything that was outside of Karen and outside of that good Candiace. This was a big episode for her because we found out about the tax situation and she had the whole scene with Juan, okay? Now, with regards to the tax situation, Robin got 90,000 problems, but this altercation between Candiace and Monique should not be one of them. You know what I'm saying? She's so wrapped up in that and what Karen Hugert is doing that she can't even be concerned about these taxes that's sitting there waiting for her on the desk, on the front desk, or on her front porch in the mailbox. You know what I'm saying? To me, I felt like she should be more worried about that than anything else. But I felt like they only lightly touched on this situation at all. And I was just kind of confused by that. I mean, to me, I was very confused by how lightly they all touched on the situation. And even Candiace, to her credit, when she mentioned this whole situation, she treaded very lightly and she treated Robin with grace, except for when she said, well, I find it crazy that, you know, Robin went all the way in on Karen's taxes, but you know, now she's in that same situation. Now I'm gonna tell y'all this, and let me tell y'all something. And I don't know a lot about everything in life, but I'm gonna tell y'all this one thing. This is why when we talk on this channel about people and the issues that come up, and taxes being one of them, I always handle situations with as much grace as I can, because taxes could happen to anybody, okay? And it's like the saying goes, his grace and mercy carried you through. But when you turn your nose up, karma's coming for you. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. I know I cannot sing, but it just reminds me, okay, of how you should handle people when they go through real life type situations, okay? When you go through real life situations, you need to, it just boggled my mind. She gave Karen so much ish for those taxes. And it was like, so this is why I say to y'all, and this is why it annoyed me so much that the women held their noses up at Monique in such a way. I just felt like when you were watching reality television show, and we all know this to be true, the very thing that you condemn a person for is the very thing that is gonna come back and bite you in the butt. This is just a prime example of it. And you know, I have to say this though. Here's my thing about, and that's the thing. I see a lot of you guys commenting. Here's the thing. You again, taxes can happen to anybody. And the fact of the matter is, it wasn't even Karen that had the tax issue. It was Ray that had the tax issue. She came in and swooped in and alley-ooped and helped save the day with that whole thing. And there was no recognition from the ladies about how she managed to do that and how dope that was. There was no celebration about that. They just ridiculed her and laughed about it. I just felt like that was crazy. That was real crazy to me. What I will say, though, is Karen did call her out on social media. Karen says this: Robin is doing her favorite thing, twinning again. You got to love her. She's consistent. Stop twisting my words, especially not now when our friends are in need of our support. Tell Candiace the truth. Tell her what I said to Monique publicly during our meeting, or just be quiet. Because at that moment, Robin told Candiace that Karen had yet to publicly denounce what Monique did. But then the production is so shady, and I love it. And they flash back to the clip where Karen tells Monique that she thought that she was wrong. It's right there in black and white. You know, and it's funny to me, and I talked to you guys about this yesterday, about how Robin was like, you know, in an interview with Entertainment Tonight, she said, oh, well, you know, after Gizelle had then ran down this list of everything that Monique did, and then Robin says, well, the audience hold on to grudges and they remember things from seasons ago. We don't remember that. Here's the thing, Robin, a short memory, okay, does not excuse or does not make for a clear conscience, okay? So for me, you ain't in the clear with this whole situation. And you need to start remembering the facts if you're going to start spewing information about different people. But again, perhaps Robin had other things on her mind at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of other things, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but to me, Robin gave us a good example of how to be frugal in this episode. Okay, whilst dealing with the tax issues, she's getting ready to go on a date with Juan, where they're playing dress up and they're acting though, you know, as though they're meeting for the very first time. Now, I think that this is sexy or whatever, but Robin girl, I'm gonna need you to take the tag off of that coat, okay? Pop that tag, boo. Pop that tag, okay? Because the camera is gonna catch everything. And they just so happen to capture this moment right here with that tag still in that coat. Now, speaking of, listen, when facing tax issues, it is probably best to be frugal. Girl, go ahead and take that thing back. Take that coat right on back, girl. Take it back, okay? Get your money back and save that money, okay? Pop that tag. Woo! Now, I'm glad I wasn't the only one that noticed that. Meanwhile, okay, the last couple of scenes that we happened to get, okay, just the last couple of scenes. Now, earlier I talked about how Karen had told Candiace, girl, I would press them charges if it was me, okay? Now, Karen did respond to this on social media. She says, if it were me, which it was not, because I am not a fighter, and when there is conflict, I look for solutions and am known to take a time out. I would hope to never be in that situation, but if by some miracle of miracles it did happen to me, I will call for help, 911. Now, I'm not saying that Candiace was the sole reason why Karen was the sole reason why Candiace would press charges, but it still plants a seed in Candiace's ear to press charges. But she had, listen, and if Candiace decides to press charges, she has every right to be, but her mother also encouraged her to press charges as well. Now, I just want to introduce an idea here, because another account, and I forgot to mention the accounts that I have referenced here with these memes. The first one is Bravo, Bravo, Ducking Bravo. Please follow this account. They have the funniest memes. It's just one of the few of my favorite Instagram sites that has just great memes. And to me, this was such an interesting moment, because last episode, Robin's like, oh, look at Monique holding that baby for sympathy. But then this episode, we have Candiace holding the dog, talking about mommy, the bad lady assaulted me. I just thought that this was so funny. And the editors of this show are so funny as well for the way they set up these scenes, okay? Now, in this scene, we have, Candiace's mom telling her to press charges. I'm not necessarily surprised by that, given that at this point, she has not necessarily seen how the whole situation started. That is probably what any mom would do, okay? That's probably what any mom would do. Well, some moms, because some people's moms would have been like, well, did you start this whole situation? What did you do to contribute to it, girl? Because I didn't pop you with my pocketbook last year, so I know you got a little bit of mouth. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we get that scene right there at the end. And we also get a scene with Monique and her pastor. And at this point in time, let me tell y'all something. I don't know who this pastor is, and I need to go back and look at his name because I feel like I need to be up in his church. Because honestly, he literally read Monique up and down and read exactly what her issues were, but he did it in a way that he also gave her a ladder from which to climb out of the pit that she was currently in. I just thought that was because let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna give y'all the real. When he was speaking to her, I thought to myself, he's speaking to me. Because I feel like I was having a moment at that period of time because I was like, I mean, what he said to her was this: you have this notion that you need to strive for perfection, and you are continuously in a state of survival because of the things that you have been through in your past. And your quest for perception is something that's in your mind because these ladies are not impressed by your perception of perfection. I said, he done just called it all out there for her, okay? He done laid it all out there. And honestly, she couldn't do nothing but be like, you hit the nail on the head right there. I don't think Iyanla could have called it any better than that. I just felt like he was spot on with his assessment, but he did it in a very gentle way, which I felt like was what I think a person needs in that moment when they're going through. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that could be real with you, but also give you a hand to uplift you, even as they are being real with you in that moment. I just felt like that was a good moment to see. With regards to that, I mean, that was pretty much the gist of the episode. I know I missed covering the whole situation with Wendy and her sister and her family, but I will say this about that whole situation. I just feel like with Wendy and her family, I feel as though we have not gotten to see enough interaction between her and her mother to justify where the storyline is going. I haven't gotten to see visually where her mother has been so demanding that it's warranting all these many discussions about how she's going to approach her mother about her career aspirations at this point in time. I just haven't seen it. And I feel like we have been cheated out of that. And I don't know why, but I feel like that's been a gap in production because we needed to see a little bit more to justify where we are with her story. That's just me. Okay? That's just me. So Richard Samuel says Nigerian parents. Okay, cool. So for me, what I want to see more of is I want to see more of that pressure that she's speaking of, that she says that she's under. I believe she's going through it, but I'm just saying as a viewer, I would have liked to have seen more of it so that I have a better understanding and maybe I would have some type of feeling involved because right now as a viewer, I'm just not invested. I'm just not invested about it. You know what I'm saying? I would be more invested if I got more out of it. Conversely, it's kind of like with Candiace and her mom. We feel a little bit more invested with Candiace and her mom and the things that they've gone through because we can see them in action. We haven't gotten the chance to really see Wendy and her mother in action like that. So I'm just not as invested about it and not as interested in the storyline because I haven't been put in the full context of it. Now, it does look like next week we're going to get more of Wendy and her family, which I'm excited about that because those celebrations are something that I wish that I could be a part of. So I'm excited about seeing how that whole situation plays out. And then next week, we also see the sort of result of, Candiace announcing or being announced that, and I think it came out via People magazine, that she would be pressing charges against Monique. We'll get to see how that whole thing plays out. I mean, obviously, we know how it ends up with the thing being dismissed, but I still think that it's important for us to see how the ladies handled this news because it does look like Gizelle and Robin, for interestingly enough, are not fighting for, her to do that. So that's very, very interesting. Let's see here. Let's see if you guys have any other plot points that I might have missed. Let me go through my notes and see if I missed anything else. Oh, I do want to go back and recognize Mainly Bravo. And I think that Mainly Bravo, I think she was actually on Watch What Happens Live last night. She asked Lonnie Love a question because Lonnie Love was on there with Wendy Acefo. I will say that Wendy looked great last night on Watch What Happens Live. And the other account that I got this from about the tax lien, I believe that the tax lien meme came from, give me 1 second, because I do like to acknowledge where I get these from. And I want you guys to be able to visit those sites as well. That was also from Bravo Ducking Bravo. Okay. And then this meme right here, I believe was from Bravo Historian. So please follow those accounts as well. Did I miss anything, guys? Let me know if I missed anything. Oh, yes. Can we talk about this real quick? Did y'all see when Karen was trying to give Ray a kiss as they was about to leave, and he had just then slammed that door? And the production, they are so shady, so shady. He slammed that door, and they showed it from every single angle. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, no. Oh no, Mr. Ray Hugert. No, no. Not when she's about to be the only person in this parade. No, you won't. Okay. That's just, I was just like, oh God. I was like, that was just mm. Oh no. And next week we about to see the preview where he tells her that all this fame and fortune have gone to your head. Okay. Now I gotta hand it to y'all. And I gotta hand it to the ladies on this cast. For the most part, I feel like this is a season where the ladies seem to be very, very transparent. And aside from the behind the scenes drama that Candiace told us about earlier this season, I feel as though most of the ladies are being very, very transparent. Robin had no choice at that point but to speak on these tax issues and talk about it, even though I felt like her, she had to talk about it. I feel like we're getting to see some really interesting stuff with Karen and Ray. The whole situation with the altercation between Candiace and Monique is bringing out a lot more story about them. Wendy, I feel like we're struggling with her and her backstory, mostly because I don't feel like we're getting enough of it from production to really warrant us having many real feelings about it. But the person I feel like we're getting, and even with Ashley and Michael, oh my God, we're getting a lot from them. We're going to get a therapy session from them next week. But the person I feel like we're getting the least from is Gizelle. Now, I agree with you, Dave Ray, who says Gizelle is still smoke and mirrors. Now, what's interesting, there's a lot of information that's floating around on social media right now about the Gizelle and Pastor Jamal Bryant. I haven't really gotten much of an opportunity to really do a deep dive into the rumors, the things that are being posted, the videos that are out there from, women who are making certain claims about him, this, that, and the third. And mostly because I just kind of feel like I still don't understand it all. To be quite honest with you, I don't understand it all. But what I do know is that for someone who has such a leaky situation, I feel like she is the person who has their nose up the most out of any cast member and who sits on the high horse and judges everyone else from her self-appointed throne. And it's unfortunate to me that she, to me, is one of the reasons why there are a lot of people who run from the church. Okay. Cheryl Lynn says Gizelle confirmed her ring on voicemail. Where do they do that at? Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, she's the reason I feel like a lot of people have issues with the church, because a lot of people feel like the church is a place where they're going to be judged for the things that they've done wrong. And to me, the way she has presided over this Candiace and Monique situation is just another example of, again, why people have issues with certain people in the church. I'm not going to say the church in general, because, you know, listen, I'm a Christian, so I go to church. I was raised in the church, I should say. But there's an era of judgment that occurs with a lot of church folk, okay? And it makes a lot of people feel very uncomfortable because I don't feel like that's the way our society is today. You know what I'm saying? It's not very forgiving. And I feel like it's just, I hate that aspect of it sometimes. And I'm just being transparent right now. I hate that aspect of it. And the other thing that I don't like about it is she's the first person to cause controversy, and then she sits on her throne and reacts to it when the stuff blows up. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it just kind of feels like all the while, Miss First Lady, you know, the pastor in the pulpit got things going on, and you acting oblivious to the things that half the church knows. Make it make sense for me. Make it make sense for me. Now, I'm not taking away from Gizelle being a central character on this show, because she does know how to make the storyline go around. But I just think that at some point she should humble herself and get some humility, because when you sit on a horse that high, the fall is going to hurt because you're going to fall so far. And just like we have seen with every single person on reality television, one season, it is going to be your time. And if you guys are reality television watchers, the way I think you are, you guys will know that everybody gets a season where they have a downfall. And so far, she has been lucky enough and protected enough that she has not had that moment yet. But I will tell you, as sure as the day is long, one season, it's going to happen. Candiace even said it to Wendy. You'll wake up and see something in the blogs, and she said it to Wendy. She said, you haven't had it happen to you yet, but it will. And it's going to happen. So it's better to show a little bit of grace and to show a little bit of forgiveness and to hand someone a ladder when they're at their low points, versus laughing at them, making t-shirts about their tax issues, you know, and scorning them while they're at their lowest. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that day will come. If as long as she stays on this show, it is going to happen. Sure enough. Now, with that being said, I see a lot of you guys feel the same way. Whether you think that Monique or Candiace are right or wrong, what we can admit to is this is not their highest points. Looking down on either one of them at this moment isn't going to be the best look for the ex first lady. And that's just me. That is just me. Someone said that I must, Leela says you must not know any African families. I do have friends who are from Nigeria, from Ghana. What I do know also is that everyone does not. And so everyone is not privy to what happens in specific cultures. So sometimes we need to see visually what the issue is, right? Does that make sense? There's somebody out there who is watching Potomac who does not understand what it means to grow up in a Nigerian family. So visually, we should see more of what that's like. That's all I'm asking for. I think that's awesome, because here's the thing. We have a new experience for a lot of people. This could open up a lot of people to, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that this is what was going on. We just hear about it secondhand via Wendy, but we need to see it on the camera. That's all I'm saying. Oh no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I see a lot of you guys talking about Ashley's postpartum body. I thought that was dope too. Yeah, I don't understand either, Cynthia, because I felt like it's this. I feel like we've been on this altercation for like a couple of years at this point. Right. Gizelle should be the most forgiven, especially as a first lady. She should have came in that situation literally much different. And she's not the type of first lady that I would want to seek counsel from. Maybe that's why she's not a first lady anymore. Well, amongst other things, obviously. Yes, I agree. The lunch with Wendy's sister explains why she discusses her degree so much. Absolutely, it does. But again, I want to see more of the relationship that she has with her mother and less of her talking about her mother. This is just this is a little thing that I just wish we saw more of, because I feel like now we would get a better perspective on it, and we would, as the audience, would feel more passionately about it if we got to actually witness their dynamic more than one time, because we've just seen it once. Right. It was a scuffle. Like, I mean, come on, y'all. Like, it's crazy. Someone says, who would I get rid of? I would actually not get rid of anyone at this point. I would, if I were the producers and if I were on the network, next season, everybody would come back and I would force everyone to deal with their issues. And that's just how it has to be, because at a certain point in time, it has to be dealt with. It has to be dealt with. So I would not get rid of anyone. Now, I might make somebody a friend, okay? I might make somebody a friend and bring in a new wife. That's probably what I would do. Actually, I'm just going to be honest. I would probably make Robin a friend at this point. But I do understand that because she's getting remarried, it would be important to see that storyline play out next season. Just hopefully they just do it justice, because otherwise she tends to take on a B character role. She doesn't seem like the A character at all at this point. That is her doing, because she tends to follow behind one person. So she seems to make herself into a B character. Yes, at the end of the season, Juan proposes to her. I would imagine that she's going to get Bondi, I love you. I would imagine that she's getting. I would imagine that she was going to get married next season. Now, we'll have to see how it goes, girl. We'll have to see how it goes. I noticed this too. It'll be the scene. Everybody else is coming dressed in the scene, and she'll be in a pair of jeans and something like that. I'd be like, I want to see fabulosity when I'm watching these shows. Like, even if you dressing bad, I still want to see it. That's just me. I don't want to see you coming in looking like the rest of us. Okay, don't walk into the scene looking like we all do. I want you to come in the scene looking better than us or way worse than us. That's what I want to see. Well, wow. Yes, she is. Lady J says, Winnie doesn't have a storyline other than to talk about her degree. I am Nigerian, and I will tell you that that's all you guys are going to get. My culture is all about what are you and who's your dad. Lady, oh my God, Lady J, I feel like we could have a whole nother show on this topic because I feel like you could educate a lot of us who don't know. Thank you for that. I appreciate you chiming in and giving us the tea on that. Thank you. Angela says, good riddance, Robin. She's Gizelle's security. Forget KB. Oh, KB was the security guard. Yeah, I think absolutely she's naturally beautiful. No, I didn't know. I didn't realize that was him last night. I got to go back and rewatch. So Worthy View says to watch Yvonne Orji's comedy special. She shared insight on Nigerian families. Thank you, Worthy View. We'll check that out. Thank you, Crowned by Bria says Candiace needs to take ownership. Don't start it so people won't have to finish it. Gizelle is a hypocrite and just wants Mo to be miserable. I agree on that. Pierce says, when is the next video with Funky Dineva? But I don't know. We'll have to get together soon. It's just been so crazy with this move. I haven't had much of a chance. There's some other, yeah, I see you guys asking about some other tea that I'm going to try to address tomorrow. Imola says, we are all about degrees in Nigeria. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I kind of wish that we got more context on that because the way the show makes it seem like she's just kind of bragging. Jupiter Bryant says Gizelle should take notes on Monique's pastor and first lady. Gizelle is plotting revenge on Monique for ruining her multi-million-dollar meal. Ooh. Thank you for the super chat. I agree. I felt like the pastor that came and visited Monique and Kris, I felt like they were everything. And they were the perfect example of for me, the type of church I would want to belong to because he going to tell you the truth, but he going to also, like I said, give you a ladder to help build you back up. All right, guys, that's all we have for y'all today. Someone asked, when is BravoCon? I don't think they're going to do it this year because of the pandemic. Let's see here if there was anything else. At 3:00, I will be going live with our good friends over at All About the Tea to speak about the episode for a bit. Make sure you guys tune in to them. Let me know what your thoughts are about this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already done so. Join the texting community so I can send you a text as soon as a new video drops. To everybody on the chat right now, I appreciate you. I'm sending you love. We don't have to agree. We can all disagree, and we can still have a good time doing so. So I appreciate you guys for that. And I appreciate your commentary as well and your suggestions and your super chats. Thank you so much. Someone says, can I interview Ashley? I will if I can get the opportunity to. I'm open to interviewing anybody with that's willing to tell their story and, willing to give us answers. I think it's open for me. I love y'all, and I will catch you guys in the next video.